Welcome everyone to the very first episode of the Kantan Gamer Cast, the gaming news show that covers the hot topics coming straight from Japan. We'll also be discussing a little about playing games in Japanese and our general experiences of being gamers living in Tokyo. So I'm your host Julian, aka Kantan Gamer, and joining me is my co-host Ryan, better known as Raipoyo. So how are you doing today, Ryan?
Doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm excited to be starting this podcast.
Yeah, me too. I've been looking forward to it for a little while.
Yeah. We're all prepped up, so hopefully everything's looking good. So all systems check.
All systems go. Yeah, microphone's on, I think.
So this is obviously kind of being hosted on my channel, my Kantan Gamer channel, which is still pretty small, but no one's ever met you before, Ryan. So maybe you could introduce yourself. What kind of stuff you're into. Your gaming life in Japan. What's that about?
Yeah, well, I've been in Japan for over 4 years now. And I think the thing that probably brought me here was playing games so much when I was growing up. I was a huge Nintendo fan.
Mm-hmm.
So I played, I'm kind of a N64 era guy, you know? But I had a Super Nintendo when I was really young. And I just remembered from the first time I played Yoshi's Island when I was like 3 or 4 years old. I just loved it, and since then I was just hooked on games. And I came from a military family, so we moved around a lot, and it was just me and my brother, and we were always meeting new kids and stuff. So like playing games was always a way for me to like connect with people quickly, you know, and hang out with my brother and stuff like that. Anyway, so I came to Japan to do music work. Actually, as you can see, I got guitar stuff over here.
Yeah.
But I've also got a passion for games. You know, I like retro stuff, but recently I'm getting into new stuff as well. So yeah, I guess that's kind of a overview about me.
Cool, man.
How about you?
Yeah, well, I mean, anyone that's on the channel already knows that I also play guitar, and that's actually how we met, right? We're both musicians, and we kind of met through that originally, and then we both realized that we're both just massive fucking nerds.
Yeah. We kind of have a interesting story how we met twice in 2 different jobs.
We did actually, yeah. That's pretty funny. We'll save that for another time, but that is quite funny. But yeah, I'd say like my background, for anyone that doesn't know, I don't think I've ever shared it on the channel before, but it's kind of similar to yours actually, minus the military aspect of it. But yeah, I got into Nintendo super early. I think I'm like 5 or 6 years older than you, roughly.
Yeah.
So I was slightly like half of a generation above you, right? So I started on the SNES, but my older brother got one when I was still like 5 years old. So I just saw the tail end of the SNES, and then when I was 8 years old, I got a 64 when it came out. A couple of months after it came out, Mario 64, and then Ocarina of Time the year after. So that was kind of where it started for me. But yeah, just absolutely addicted to this day.
Yeah, me too. I just am always searching new games, you know.
Yeah.
I'm just it's just so fun to follow it, you know.
Yeah, I love all the news and that kind of stuff. But it was really like my first introduction to Japanese culture. Like,
oh yeah.
It sounds a bit like cliche, but it's just completely true, right? When I was 6 years old, I had no idea like what Japan was or where it was on the map, anything about the country really. I just played these like awesome games, and then when I realized that they were made in a different country, I was like, well, I want to learn about that country. Like, how do I know like where these games came from, right? And the more that I like learned about Japan, I realized how much stuff is kind of infused in the games. So like you take like Zelda, for example, which is personally my favorite franchise. But like the shrines and like the aesthetic and stuff, it's all so heavily influenced by like Japanese culture or history, I think. So I always find that aspect super interesting.
Yeah, me too. I was a huge Zelda fan. Well, I still am, but yeah, I mean that got me interested in the whole aesthetic of Japanese culture and mixed with arts and things.
Yeah.
But I remember being a kid, maybe 6 or 7 years old, and watching Pokemon anime on TV.
Yeah.
And the characters, they eat like onigiri, like and I just remember thinking like, is that like Pokemon food? Like what is, they're eating like rice balls, and then later on I realized like, oh, that's part of like Japanese thing, like they have like bentos and onigiris and things like that.
Yeah.
So I guess from an early age, the Japanese influence was there, even though, I mean, you're from England, right?
Yeah.
So, and I'm from the US, but we both had kind of a similar experience with like Japanese culture coming.
Well, I think with like the all the cartoons and stuff, I used to watch, actually, I don't remember, maybe like Cartoon Network or whatever, but that's American, right? And,
yeah, I think so.
And maybe they didn't have any anime on like Nickelodeon. I don't really remember. But like all the big like kids TV shows in England were like American channels when I was a kid.
Oh, I see.
So we probably got exposed to most of the same stuff. So a lot of exposure when I was little. And then, I came to Japan like 3 years ago. So yeah, you've been here a little longer than me. But
I thought you were here before me, actually.
No, it was 2018, I think. So.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. So this podcast is basically, I don't know, it's just going to be us, discussing games, obviously heavily Japan themed. We're going to be just talking about some of the news every week coming out of Japan. We'll also be discussing some language stuff. So, we're both, learning Japanese and, playing games in Japanese. So that leads to a lot of like interesting discoveries, right? With regards to the language, but also regards to the games, because maybe, I don't know how you feel, but like I've played some games that I played when I was a kid in English, obviously, playing them again in Japanese, and you kind of see them from like a different perspective. It's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, that's been amazing. Like that's one of the best parts about learning Japanese to me is like that stuff you loved, like getting to experience it in the original language, and some stuff that like was kind of lame in English it's like cool in Japanese. I don't know. Maybe that's just because I'm an idiot, but
no, I think totally. Yeah,
it just sometimes feels just natural, like it was meant to be that way.
Yeah.
Although I mean, usually localizations are pretty good too. So I mean, any way to experience a game is great, I think, but it is really nice, gaming in Japanese is it's like a game inside of a game sometimes.
Yeah.
Like there's the game of that actually playing, but then it's also the language game,
But sometimes it like clicks really well, right? You just pick up for no particular reason, but you pick up a certain game, and for some reason you just seem to understand like a lot of it, and then you're like, oh wow, this is going really well. So like those particular times, I find it's even more enjoyable, right? Because you almost forget that you're studying. Or it just
like
doesn't feel like that kind of slog.
Yeah, I mean it takes a while to get there though, right? Like where you get in there and you're trying to play, but you can't read it. Maybe a whole paragraph you didn't understand or something, and it's just like it can be a little bit hard to stay motivated.
Yeah, but, for sure.
But I mean, I find as long as I just keep going, I eventually get back on track, get back into it.
I find most games have like a set of like base vocabulary. So once you push through the first couple of hours of the game, you start seeing the same words and kind of grammar patterns for particular characters.
Yeah.
And it gets a lot easier, right?
Like each game has kind of its own set of commonly used words. And once you get through those, it becomes a lot easier.
Yeah. So, that kind of wraps up the intro, I think. So yeah, why don't we move on to our news for the week? We've got a couple of stories. So I think first we're going to move on to the release of a new Switch game. It's called Mi n no Shaberi Chatto. Yeah, so we've got the news here from 4gamer.net. It's not a complicated story. It's basically just a release of a new game. But the thing I thought was interesting about it is that the Switch is kind of notorious for not having usable chat functionality, right?
Yeah.
Especially voice chat. I think maybe like Fortnite was the first game to put it in, or maybe like another game before that. But there's no like system level chat on the Switch, right?
Yeah.
So this one it actually came out a few days ago this week, but it came out on the 25th of March. It's called Min no Shaberi Chatto, and I think this is already like an app that exists on phones. So it says down here, actually 2013, the similar title came out on the 3DS. So it was like 8 years ago. And it says here like up to 10 people can chat together and basically use like text or voice chat. So
it's kind of like Line, like on a cell phone.
That was my initial thought, yeah. You got the like stickers and the kind of colorful graphics and things like that.
Yeah, like just maybe if some of the viewers don't know, in Japan everyone uses like an app called Line to chat, and it's kind of like a Facebook Messenger or what's the one you use in Europe?
WhatsApp.
WhatsApp. Yeah.
I mean, they're all the same, aren't they? But yeah, Line is quite specific for the stickers, I think.
Yeah, Line has these cute, what do you even call them? Cute stickers.
Stickers, I think.
Like very, very kind of childish, like a cutesy sort of aesthetic, which kawaii stuff.
Yeah, no, really they're very, very manly, Ryan. They're very, they're very macho, and it's fine that I use them all the time.
I use them all the time. I find if you use like a cute character, stickers, every conversation becomes just like kind of cheerful and
it does get nice. A bit ridiculous, doesn't it?
Yeah, like when I talk to my friends from the US, it's really short and just like, hey man, what's up, bro, or whatever.
Yeah,
but my Japanese friends, it's like there's like a dancing bear and it says like konnichiwa, and like smiling panda stuff. And,
yeah, let me let me bring up for the guys at home if you're not familiar with what Line is. So these are Line stickers.
You got some samples there.
Yeah, just on Google here. This one's quite popular. I forgot the name of this character, but maybe it's called Salaryman. Not sure, but there's the panda and the little bunny. I think the bunny is like the Line mascot, isn't he?
Oh yeah.
But there's so many packs that you can buy. They're really fun though. So
yeah, but this game appears to me to be just a Line like phone communication app, but just for Nintendo Switch.
That's what it looks like, yeah. I initially thought it was free, but I just noticed again in the article here, it's free for the first 30 days. But then after that, you need a ryoken, which is like a ticket, a using ticket, and you can buy them in 30 or 90 day quantities, but it doesn't actually say how much it is. So yeah, let's head over to the video, man. We'll check it out and see what it looks like.
Check it out.
So the music's very Nintendo, right?
Yeah.
But it looks like here, I guess, you can just chat with like Switch friends. I don't know if it's compatible with like Facebook or anything like that, or maybe with Line. But it looks quite kid-friendly, so I'd imagine it's like only people that you pre-authorize to chat.
So they have like a Google Play app that is connected to the Switch or something?
I think that's what it looks like, right? So I think it's going to be similar to, there's the like parental control app for Switch.
Oh yeah, I haven't opened it, but
yeah, me neither. I don't have kids, so I never needed to use it. But I've seen that it exists. But it allows like a parent to like link the app on their phone to their child's Switch account. So then the parent can kind of remotely control what the kid has access to, which I think is like, compared to what Nintendo usually does with mobile apps, is actually quite a good idea.
Yeah, it's just, I don't think you can use this game like with other games. Like you'd have to be in the game.
Yeah.
In order, so you couldn't like have a a voice chat going like in the background while you're, playing Mario Kart or something like that.
Yeah. So I think this definitely looks like it's made for children, even though it's got that kind of kawaii kind of aesthetic that maybe a lot of grown-ups might enjoy as well.
Yeah, I mean, well, 'cause most adults and teens would have a cell phone already, so
yeah, well, we see in the video here, this girl, she's chatting to her grandma or something. Okay, so our next story of the week, this is kind of a funny one, I thought. You obviously heard of the release of the new Monster Hunter Rise game, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Big franchise globally recently, but only recently. But it's always been a massive franchise in Japan. And one company, which I thought was quite funny, is basically so concerned that all of their staff would take the day off to play the game because it came out on a Friday. They basically just gave all their staff the day off and turned it into like a 3-day weekend.
That's hilarious. Like and kind of, I think, rare for a Japanese company to give a freebie. Yeah. Companies, especially in Tokyo, are known for being kind of strict and not getting a ton of time off of work. But,
that's it. Yeah, but this company actually is a game studio or a VR studio.
Yeah, so it makes sense. It's kind of work related for them, if they're really, in the game industry, then like it's related,
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
So like that, I guess you could say it's part of their work, but
I guess so, yeah.
But anyway, this Monster Hunter is huge, right? Like
it's like, massive here, yeah. I mean, I first played Monster Hunter, I don't know, I want to say like about 20 years ago. And
wow.
One of my friends had like one of the first ones on the PSP, and at the time I played it and the controls were like janky and like I don't know, like it just didn't feel very good to play, and I just thought it was kind of boring, to be honest.
Yeah, I have sort of a funny story about about that too.
Oh yeah, go on.
I didn't know Monster Hunter at all until I moved to Japan, and that was before the Switch came out. I had a 3DS, and I went into like one of these book off stores, a store that sells like used stuff. They had a bin, like a little bin, and it had these loose 3DS and DS games.
Oh, okay.
They were like 100 yen each, so they're like $1 each, and it was like almost completely full of Monster Hunters.
Oh, okay.
Just like there was just like 50 Monster Hunters in there, like 3DS carts, and they were like only 100 yen. So like, I thought, oh shit, well, I mean that's really cheap, and even if it sucks, it's like $1. So like, I bought one, and I put it in. I turned it on, and I played it for maybe 15 minutes, and then I just thought, this is a bit much for me to get into, But I didn't really give it a chance,
Right.
It just seemed like a kind of in depth or something, like the character creation and learning all the controls and things. But apparently this new one's really good and got great reviews. So maybe I missed my chance to get into Monster Hunter.
Yeah, I mean, I played the demo. There is a demo of this one, and it definitely feels more fluid. The general like gameplay loop seems to be exactly the same, but
I see. I heard it's quite fast.
It definitely feels
like the,
smoother. Yeah,
the movement speed.
That
probably makes it feel a lot better, right?
Yeah, and I mean, you can actually see in the trailer now I'm playing. They have this like grappling hook thing now, so you can kind of like dart around, and that actually looks really cool. And it makes it seem a lot more engaging, I would say. But the general, hook of the game is you hunt monsters. Like, obviously that's what it's called. And you grind, you beat monsters, you get better loot, and then you level up, and then you beat harder monsters and you get better loot, and it just kind of goes around. So yeah, returning back to our story at hand, I thought this was kind of funny that they even like kind of titled this as Monhan Yasumi, which Monhan is the abbreviation of Monster Hunter in Japan. anyone that studies Japanese will know that Japanese people love to abbreviate everything, especially things that are 2 words. So they'll just chop each word in half and then glue those 2 things together.
Yeah. Dragon Quest is Dorakue, I think.
Dorakue, yeah.
Or something. Monhan.
Animal Crossing, it's Atsumare Dobutsu no Mori, but they call it Atsumori.
Oh, really? I heard it called just Domori.
Domori. Maybe that's the old one. The new one, because it's called Atsumare. That's like the subtitle of the game. So Atsumori is the new version. But yeah, maybe the older ones were called Domori.
Oh, okay, I see.
I think Smabara as well. Do you know that one?
Wait, say one more time.
Smabara.
Oh, Smash Brothers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's loads. I think like almost every game has a title, unless it's like one word already. They're all like abbreviated into something. So
yeah, it's funny.
This thing here, and obviously,
I can never pronounce the shortened versions. There's something really hard about saying like an English word that has been turned into katakana, and then it also gets smushed to a shorter version.
Yeah.
Sumabura. It's like Smash Brothers or something.
It's never easy, is it?
It's really hard for me. But
I think the hardest bit with this word is because it's like mon is fine, right? Monster. But hunter, like you have a huh, which is like HU. But here it's like ha, hunter.
Han, yeah.
So
Monhan.
Monhan, which that always trips me up when
that's
there's a maybe you don't know, there's a popular anime manga called Hunter x Hunter. But that's the word hunter twice, right? But it's hunter. So when you pronounce it in katakana, you have to change that to an a sound. It's quite tricky.
There's a lot of like words that get these sort of unexpected katakana readings, like McDonald's or McDonald's is like McDonaldo.
Yeah.
And California is what is it? It's like
California.
California.
Yeah.
California. It's really hard, man.
Yeah, it's tricky. Any English words, I hate it, man. But yeah, this word here, yasumi, just means a holiday or like break or rest or something like that. So you usually see like yasumi like bolted onto the end of other words to indicate like a particular holiday or break for something.
Yeah, Monster Hunter break.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess in our final bit of news this week, we should probably talk about the end of the Mario 35th anniversary celebrations, which I think have been a little bit controversial for the death of Mario. Some people are calling it
the death of Mario. That's sad.
Yeah, I've been seeing some kind of memes online, and people are speculating that Mario will be taken out the back of Nintendo headquarters and put out of his misery.
Oh man,
packed into a shipping crate.
They're going to do a live action film, the death of Mario.
Yeah. So obviously this all comes from the timed availability of the Mario 3D collection on the Nintendo Switch. And a lot of people are obviously a bit disgruntled that the game will only be available for so long. I think it was 6 months in total. But yeah, I don't know. Like personally, I don't really have that big a problem with it. I mean, I bought it on day one, but I don't know. Like, if you really want the game, pick it up. I think it's a stupid decision on Nintendo's part.
Yeah, it's a little bit odd to just put the game out and then, like, I guess stop producing it. But I mean, technically, all games are like produced in batches, right? And I mean, or do they keep them in production like usually for the whole life of the console?
Well, it depends on the sales, obviously, right? If there's no demand, there's no need to supply. But I think that the thing with this story was that it will even disappear off the eShop, which makes no sense, right? So my speculation is that there's only one reason they would want to do that, and that is that they intend to make some kind of new virtual console or like add those games to the online service like they already do with the SNES and NES games.
Yeah, it could be, they're thinking forward to like the next generation, maybe 5 years down the line, and on like what comes after the Switch, they want to have a N64 or like Wii games playable or something. I mean, it's just speculation, but I think they're afraid of, their precious, Mario series being like too readily available. I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know. It seems weird.
I don't even know if it's that, because like I don't know what the current numbers are, but they shipped 2 million copies of that game when it came out.
Yeah.
I'll have to double check, but I think it was around 2 million copies. Now, if you're trying to drive up demand and cause like artificial scarcity, then you don't release something in 2 million units, right?
Yeah, I mean,
you released like 10 copies of it.
I've never seen this game sold out in Tokyo. I mean, everywhere I go, it's just there on all the walls. I think it was like heavily promoted and heavily. I mean, it's really popular too.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've seen it. I've got my copy here somewhere. But yeah, it's. I mean, for me, it doesn't bother me that much because I got a physical copy, and I think most people who wanted the game probably got it physically.
Sure.
So for me, taking something off, the eShop, I mean, it kind of sucks, but also most of the eShops get closed down eventually, like a few years after the console ends. So, yeah, maybe it's not so bad.
But yeah, we'll find out. But I think, a perfect way to mark the end of this anniversary was the opening of Super Nintendo World in Universal Studios Japan in Osaka. And I was incredibly lucky enough to have actually visited last week.
Oh, yeah, you were there.
Yeah, so I'll introduce this before I show it. But I actually work for another YouTube channel called Japan Pro. So that was the reason I was there. We were making videos. So as we discuss this, I'm going to play the video so you guys can check it out in the background. It's very fun. It's very colourful. It's just ridiculous. So yeah, any questions, Brian? I'll try and answer as best I can.
Let's see. There's just so much. There's so much to ask. Like, I just saw on your video, there's like a little Pikmin, carrying a Mario coin.
Yeah.
So it's Super Nintendo World. So are non-Mario franchises also pretty well represented there, or is it? I mean, I see a lot of Yoshi, Mario,
Not really. I mean, as you already know, like Yoshi is the same as Mario, right? It exists in the same franchise. So
yeah.
It's basically Mario World. But I think because they already have a game like Super Mario World, they couldn't call it that because the game already exists, right?
Oh yeah, so it's Super Nintendo.
There are plans to add a Donkey Kong section in the future. But Donkey Kong is also kind of like in that same universe. So I mean, you can see here in the video, right? This is me standing at the front entrance of the attraction. It's just like giant green warp pipe. It's really, really cool. There's a little tower in the background. That's actually the top of a Hogwarts castle over in the Harry Potter section.
Oh, really? Okay, because it's connected, right?
It's right next to, but you can see from the footage, right? It's just incredibly detailed. It's so fun.
Yeah, I mean, I love the colors. Yeah,
sorry, Cam.
It's mostly outdoor, right? Or is a lot of it like hidden away inside?
Yeah, mostly outdoor. I mean, you can see the day that we went, there wasn't a single cloud in the sky. It was just beautiful weather. So it was just perfect. You couldn't, like, the weather was just pure Nintendo. If Nintendo weather exists, this was it. yeah, definitely. But yeah, the best part I thought was actually the bit that we were showing now, which was the Mario Kart ride. So basically, it's like a kind of a moving roller coaster kind of chair, but mixed with like a VR kind of experience, or maybe AR, maybe augmented reality. So you wear this like visor, and inside the visor, you can see like characters racing around the track, but they're obviously not actually there in real life. And when you move your head, you can aim, and then when you press the button on the steering wheel, you can fire shells. So basically, like the race part is automated. The car just goes around automatically. But you get like little indicators on the screen. It flashes like left and right. So when those appear, you have to drift in time. And if you do that in time, you get extra points or extra coins. And then also you get more coins for hitting the opponents.
And I see you guys now on that video.
Yeah, you can see here, right? There's 4 people in each car, and 2 cars go each time. So one car will be on Team Mario, and the other car is on Team Bowser. And you're actually competing against the other people in the park, which is pretty fun. So
yeah, it looks great, man. I definitely got to get down there.
Yeah, so I mean, overall as an experience, I mean, obviously if you love Nintendo, it's just excellent. But I'm just going to show you like the last little part of this video, actually. Talking about one of the probably my favorite features of this park was the app that you get with the game. Sorry, the app that you use for the park. So as you go around, you get these like power bands. I've actually got mine. If I can get it off my shelf here. I've actually got my band here. And you sync it up with your phone, and then every time you like punch the power up blocks or the question mark blocks, or you complete mini games, you get coins, and they kind of clock up in your app. So here, like the guy I do the channel with, Yasu, like me and him were registered on the same app, and we could compete. And you can see here that he just got a couple more coins than me, so he kind of edged me out. But that sort of adds like a really fun element to the whole experience that I don't think I've ever seen in different.
There's kind of like a game going on, like while you're experiencing the park. Then.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Yeah. So you do the actual attractions, but yeah, you there is like a high score game. And
oh, that's amazing.
We didn't show it in the video, but you can see scores from every player that went into the park that day. So everyone's in the same, like you have like a world or high score ranking. And I have the Luigi band, right? But there's Mario, Luigi, Peach, Toad, Daisy, and Yoshi, I think. So there's 6 in total. And then there's a high score for each team. So I think on the day that I went, I was on Team Luigi and we came second. And I think maybe Team Yoshi won.
Oh, that's so cool, man.
Yeah.
I definitely got to get down there and check it out. Maybe we do Kantan Gamer Cast from Mario.
Yeah, we'll do it on the Yoshi ride. That's what we're going around.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, that kind of wraps up for the news this week. Ryan, should we move on to sales charts in Japan?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so yeah, moving on to the sales charts. This is between the period of the 15th of March and the 21st of March, which is obviously 2 weeks behind when we're recording this, but these figures don't usually come out for a little while. So we'll be taking a look at these probably every week, because I always think it's interesting not only to look at sales figures, but to see like Japan isolated, you know, as a separate economy. You can really see like the trends and stuff and what's popular, and it's quite surprising sometimes, you know, what you think. If you're in a Western country, you might not realize that certain games are more or less popular in Japan.
Yeah, it can be quite different, you know, the tastes and the things that are popular here. I find generally like really violent games, you know, like shooters or really realistic games like simulations and things tend to not be as popular. And then I guess in Japan, there's a lot of Nintendo love, you know.
That's it, you know, like you're talking about violence, right? And a lot of people say like Nintendo games are like look like kids games and stuff, which I wouldn't argue against because it's kind of true. But Nintendo's a Japanese company, and that's just what Japanese people like. Everyone loves cute stuff, right? And you know, like mascots here are huge, right? Everything has a mascot.
Yeah.
So like just colorful characters are really big money in Japan. So it doesn't make sense for Nintendo to make like a blood-soaked shooter, you know, because it wouldn't sell to people in Japan.
Yeah, makes sense. But I'm okay with that. I quite like the variety of, you know, different stuff you get coming from Japan.
Same. I mean, you know, looking at this chart here, probably the most adult game I could say probably like Apex Legends, which is quite big over here. It just launched on the Switch last week, so that was pretty good. But we won't go through all of these. Let's just start from the top and pick out a few highlights. Obviously, we had Super Mario 3D World in its like third or fourth week already.
And did you picked that one up too, right?
I did, yeah.
I played it on the Wii U and I loved it, and I was thinking of buying it again for Bowser's Fury.
Yeah, I mean, I mainly bought it for Bowser's Fury, but it was really good. Yeah, very good.
Would you say it's worth it for Bowser's Fury?
Yeah, honestly, because I mean, it depends what your opinion is. But I think as you get older, you know, I've got no problem spending $60 on a game that lasts me 8 hours. You know.
Oh yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like people complain like, oh, the campaign's only 50 hours long. Like, oh, that's bullshit. Like, I don't have time for that. Like, I want like a really well polished, really fun 8-hour game. I will pay $60 for that. That's fine. And that's exactly what Bowser's Fury is. It's really fun, and it took me about maybe 10 hours to like do 100% on it. Super fun.
Oh, okay, that's pretty good. And also 3D World is a great game, and it has like pretty good multiplayer actually. So like,
yeah,
maybe
exactly,
you remember from the Wii, like the Wii had the like, what was it called? New Super Mario Brothers, and like you could all join and like go through the course together.
Yeah, exactly.
So that functionality is still there, but it's a 3D game, so it's kind of like playing a fully 3D Mario, but just with 4 characters on the screen.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
So to me, I think it's one of my favorites in the Mario series.
Yeah, maybe we should try doing a little stream. If you pick it up, then let me know. And,
yeah, that would be fun. Yeah, some multiplayer.
Yeah, that'd be good. So next up, actually on the charts here, so I actually probably should mention Mario has now sold a total of over 500,000, 555,000 units, which is pretty good going for Japan. But second on the chart here, coming in heavy, is Densha de Go.
Yeah, and I wanted to talk about this one because I'm a pretty big fan of Densha de Go. And for those of you who don't know, it's kind of like it's a train game, but it's an arcade train game. So it's not a simulation. It's kind of like trying to think what's something good to compare it to. You know, like you've got racing games like an arcade racer, where it's sort of a time attack. So Densha de Go has some of that kind of arcadey energy where you're trying to hit the zones with the correct speed and like stop the train at the right time.
Yeah.
And it's got great like 3D modeled environments of Tokyo with the all the train lines and stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, it looks pretty solid. I mean, just pulling up the trailer now, and it just looks like, I don't know. I wouldn't say like super realistic, but considering it's on the Switch, it looks pretty solid.
Yeah, and I believe it was also on PS4. It came out like a few months ago, and within like a week, the Switch sales already met the PS4 sales.
Yeah,
if you have a chance to buy this one, I recommend probably go with the PlayStation version for the better graphics and stuff.
Yeah, it looks pretty nice.
But I'd like to share with the viewers. I've got the original.
Oh, nice!
This is the N64 Japan only.
Wow.
Densha de Go. And it had this quirky accessory for the N64 where I don't know if you can see that here.
Oh, yeah.
But you connected it to your N64 and you could like drive the train.
Is that in that box then?
No, it's a separate accessory.
Oh, okay. That box is nice. I don't have it. It looks like mint.
Yeah, I got a pretty good quality for this one.
Wow.
Yeah, but I like the N64 stuff. So
I have played the game in an arcade before, and you basically like the game is inside like a replica train cockpit, or whatever you call like the front of the train. So you actually climb in, and like super funny. Like when I went in there was actually like a coat hanger hanging up, and it had like a jacket and a hat, like a train conductor's hat and jacket.
Oh, really?
And it's like a little cosplay, and you put it on, And because it's Japan, right, and most people are pretty respectful of like things that don't belong to them, people will like put it on, play the game, hang it back up nice and neat for the next person. Yeah, I just thought that was super funny. It was
that
quite a good thing.
Was that the one where there's 3 screens, like it's like a triple monitor setup?
Yeah, it's huge. Yeah, and you have the lever and the buttons and stuff, and yeah, it's really fun. I didn't really understand how to play it though, so I tried it once, but I just completely like overshot the mark by like a mile, and no one got off the train. So,
but anyway, I haven't played the Switch version, so I can't recommend it to the viewers, but it's probably good, right? I mean, it's sold well, and
I'm sure as with everything on the Switch, if it's on another platform as well, you're always sacrificing the graphics for portability. But I feel like that's a kind of game that you just want to like chill out in bed, and just like drive some trains. Like nothing, you don't need to be like in front of like 4K TV for that kind of situation, do you?
Yeah,
like,
you could ride the train and play the train driver while you're riding it. I mean,
that's it, man. Yeah. Unless you've got like the controller and it's all set up, and you've got like 4 TVs.
yeah, 4K, like huge. Nah, I don't need that. I think.
Yeah.
I'll be all right. And trains are coming in hot on number 3 as well.
Yeah.
I believe this is also a train-related game, right?
Okay, so this one is Momotaro Densetsu, or Legend of Momotaro. And it's kind of like a board game, a train board game. But I don't really know much else about it, to be honest.
I believe this one has kind of a long history in Japan. I just pulled up a Wikipedia on it, and it goes back to the Famicom. And I think it's just a family style, kind of like Monopoly or Mario Party. Like you each have a railway, maybe you expand it and purchase properties.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So you kind of just like you're moving around the board.
Yeah, and I think the board is all of Japan. So like it's named
Shibuya,
after the
Harajuku.
So it's familiar places.
I see, yeah.
So really popular in Japan, I guess, especially for families. So makes sense that it's selling so well on the Switch.
Yeah, I mean, it looks quite fun. And these kind of what they're called Sugoroku games, which are like Mario Party, right? When you like advance around the board in like going across spaces. It's kind of like a board game category in Japan. So like these kind of things are always quite popular.
I'd love to get together with some friends and play a drinking game or something. And,
that's it. Yeah, or just learn your cities. If you want to learn a bit more about the geography of Japan, it might be quite useful.
Yeah, that would be a good way to do it. Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, either way, it looks pretty fun. I like the style. It's got this kind of 3D, 2D, a bit like Paper Mario kind of style.
Yeah, very simple. I can see all the landmarks from Tokyo here. That's cool. I'm sure each part on the map probably has some kind of little icon that represents that area of Japan,
Yeah. Well, actually, I don't know if you noticed, but like on the map, like when you go to different locations, the little characters jumping around, like there's like deer or like little oranges and like plums and stuff. So I guess it's like the local specialities of each area.
Oh yeah.
Which Japan is quite famous for. Like the 47 prefectures, each one has its it's called meibutsu, which is like a local speciality. Sorry. And it's like every area has like a very particular thing that it's famous for. So
cool.
That's like here, there's like little plums and I don't know, like pigs and stuff, kind of horses. It's kind of cute.
This is like the kind of game you could probably play with your wife or with your girlfriend.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
It seems like kind of approachable.
Yeah, if it's more like a traditional board game and it feels like less like a video game, I think it would be probably something you could do quite easy.
But
it looks fun.
Oh, there's the Famicom graphics on. Oh, that looks
yeah,
nice.
I mean, even going from the trailer, the Japanese looks fairly easy because I guess it's aimed at a younger audience as well. So I feel like that'd be a good one to learn some Japanese with as well.
Yeah, maybe we should pick this one up and stream it and talk about what's going on.
That could be a good idea.
That could be a good episode.
So speaking of Japanese, well, let's talk about our experiences this week from learning Japanese. I'll let you go first, Brian. I think I've talked quite a lot for the last few minutes. So
so actually, I started taking Japanese lessons yesterday on an app called italki. It's like it's kind of like a Skype app. You just meet up with a teacher and you chat. And I haven't really studied Japanese formally. I've just been living here for a long time. And so I was chatting with my teacher, and he was just writing down a lot of, words that I needed to know. And he taught me ongaku yogo. So ongaku is music, of course, but yogo is like means terminology. So like whenever you want to talk about a subject, you can say yogo, and it's like referring to that specific part of the language.
Yeah.
So since I'm a music teacher, I need to know ongaku yogo, right? That's kind of my specialty. So, even for games, perhaps, there's a, game yogo or something. I'm not sure if that, but I think that's the usage.
Yeah. I'll just pull the word up for all our listeners at home. But yeah, it's like a set of terminology, right? So, I mean, yogo, I think is literally one word, but you tend to have different categories of words. And I think, so a yogo jiten is basically like a dictionary of terminology. So I don't know if you know this one, Ryan, but if you're looking for, and again, this is because of music, I've had to search for this before, and someone advised me to look for an ongaku yogo jiten, which is basically just a music dictionary.
Oh, okay, yogo jiten, a specialized dictionary.
So
that's pretty cool.
Jiten basically just being encyclopedia, but yeah, I think it's a very useful word to know, especially if you're into very specific, anything basically. You can find these different yogo jiten online or in paper form or whatever.
Yeah. So how about you? Have you learned any new Japanese this week?
So I was actually playing Professor Layton. Mystery Journey, I think it's called. Yeah, so like this game, it's set in London in 100 years ago, and this character, Catherine Layton, she's like the daughter of Professor Layton, who's the main character of like the previous games. But she's kind of like a Sherlock Holmes kind of character, and basically you go around solving crimes. So it's a really good way to learn the language, I think, because you're not only having to read the text, but if you don't understand the clues given in like the dialogue, then you can't progress. Like you can't, it's not like a puzzle game when you just figure it out with like visual clues. You have to understand the language. So I kind of enjoy that. But as you can imagine, it's like a detective game. So a lot of things get stolen, right? There's a lot of like thieves and like, bad people doing some stuff. And one of the first missions in this game is that someone steals the minute hand from one of the clock faces from Big Ben.
Oh, wow.
So a pretty big crime in England, right? If you steal something from Big Ben, that's high treason.
That's funny.
So basically, so you have to basically find out who stole it. And the first word I wanted to show was, let me just flick back over here to the G show, was the phrase here, which is moguri komu.
Moguri komu.
Yeah, which basically means to slip into or slide under. And the context in the game that it was used in was that the thief had snuck into a building. And when I first saw it really kind of confused me, right? Because I know this kanji here is kugu, or I had learned as a kuguru, which means to go under.
I see.
But I'd never heard this reading before, moguri. Komu always means like when you attach it to another verb, it means just to go in, So this means to slide under and in, meaning, to infiltrate or something like that.
I see.
So I thought that was quite interesting. And, like a lot of games have like stealth mechanics, right? So I feel like this might be a word that actually comes in useful quite a lot in times in different games.
Yeah, I can imagine this coming in a lot for gaming.
Yeah, and
Games were always sneaking in places and
that's it.
Getting up to stuff, you know.
That's it, right? You know, so like someone like NPC might tell you like, oh, you got to steal the key from the wizard in the castle. So you've got a Moguri Konde into the castle, like slip into the castle.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then the other thing I liked about this word is after I searched it a little bit more, I realized that it most commonly gets used on the internet when referring to cats. So,
okay.
Bedoni Moguri Konde, like the cats like slipped under the cover, because they like to get into like little tight spaces. And then that led me on a whole other mission of just finding like cat memes on the internet. And
oh man, that's a great tangent to go down.
Yeah, which I do love. But let's just, if we Google it now, like Moguri Komu Neko, you just find like pictures of like little squidgy cats, like just like squidged into stuff,
Yeah.
So
that's
if you're big into cats, then I think it's a great word to know. Yeah, so I guess that kind of wraps it up for us this week, Ryan.
Thanks.
Any departing words for our first episode of the Kantan Gamer Cast?
Let's see. I guess not. If you're listening to this, congratulations on catching the first episode. So
that's it.
Hope you enjoyed
the inauguration of the world's most poorly run podcast.
Yeah, maybe if anybody's got something they want to share with us or would like us to cover on the show, maybe just like drop it in the comments.
Yeah, that's it. So for the moment, this will just be a video podcast because I'm not sure how well the video aspect will translate to an audio only podcast. But that is the hope, to also have it on podcast as well, podcast platforms as well. But for the moment, it will just be here on YouTube. So yeah, if you enjoyed it, then obviously please make sure you're subscribed to the channel, Kantan Gamer. We hopefully be doing some more live streams coming up soon, possibly featuring Raipoyo, the one and only. And if you, how can people find you, Ryan? If they want to follow you.
I'm not really connected online at all. So maybe this is my first thing I'm doing on the internet, basically. So
yeah.
So keep a lookout. Maybe I'll join you on YouTube in the near future.
Yeah, we'll keep you guys updated if you want to follow Ryan. And obviously you can follow me here on the channel, or if you want to follow me on Twitter, then my handle is at Kantan_Japan, which is the name of one of my other YouTube channels. But yeah, so until next week, guys, thanks for listening. Ryan, thanks for joining me. It's been fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next week.